Welcome
Another
to
one.
another quality podcast from
Welcome to the
Bullshirt
Bullshirt Podcast, your number
There you
one
go.
resource for ASMR content on the internet today. Today, we're going to be doing a hair brushing, stereo microphone, high gain ASMR podcast. 1 hour long. Hope you can doze off.
Fuck this shit. I'm out.
I have found myself oddly drawn to certain ASMR. Not a lot of it, but there is some that I'm, especially chicks whispering, that the hair on the back of my neck stands up a little bit when I hear the right one.
Yeah, me too, but I definitely don't want to go to sleep.
Not yet, anyway.
Here in about 5 minutes, I'm going to be ready for a nap.
Yeah, there's
It's a
there's
hard
something
knock
to that.
life.
A hard knock life, is that what you said? Hard knuckle life?
Hard
Yeah.
knock.
In doubt, I whip it out.
White
Got
knuckle
me an ASMR
experience.
Pocket cast? Rodcast? Fuck, I don't
For me, ASMR usually equals GTFO.
know. There's an app, and it's one of those, to go to sleep. To go to sleep by, and a couple of those are decent. What would you stop? Jesus Christ!
Whistling into that's not even ASMR.
Yeah, what? Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night to that noise?
No.
No, because I don't have a kettle that I keep on the stove for making tea. And
For intermittent tea.
It's happened to me before since I moved into Colorado, and boogers here equal concrete, and I've woken up in the middle of the night with dried boogers in my nose, whistling at that frequency and wonder where the fuck it's coming from before I figure out that it's me.
Bro, get
You
some
thought
saline
Doug
solution.
was whistling. He was really just breathing into the mic.
Breathing out his booger-filled nose. No, I have never had Pike's Peak in my nose whistling. I can't. Yeah, no. No. Sorry. Really, this is what we're gonna do? Is 10 minutes of fucking whistling into the mic? Oh my
so it
god.
is worse than the coworker that could not change the fucking battery on his smoke detector for like 2 years that he worked there.
Nah, man, that's not the smoke detector. My hallway just makes that noise.
Always knew when he joined the call because beep, beep.
Yeah.
Bro, what floor do you work on? I'm gonna buy you a fucking 9-volt battery since you obviously don't make enough money to buy one yourself. Jesus fucking Christ, change it.
Right after I moved into this apartment, the carbon monoxide detector kept going off at like 1 or 2 in the morning. Not going off, but it would do like 4 really loud beeps every minute or something like that. So, didn't get any sleep. Next day I get a 9-volt, change it. It calms down. I'm like, okay, cool, great. It was just a battery. And then that night, 1, 2 in the morning, motherfucker starts going off again. And finally dug out. I just moved in, so I didn't know where my ladder was. Anything like that. So I go down, I dig that out, and I get up there and I pull it down. The next morning I look at it, and it says that the 4 short beeps basically means that it's a bad unit and it needs to be replaced. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I put in a ticket with the maintenance folks. Oh, they were like, oh, yeah. How many beeps? I told him. He's like, oh, yeah, you need a new one. Yeah, no shit. So, but then I set my smoke alarm off. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I made steak. And I got the old cast iron out. And I was like, yeah, let's char this bitch.
That's a daily thing for me.
I had my garage door open, the back door open. I was like, thought I had good airflow. But it was funny. It went off. I didn't even panic. I was just like, yeah, all right. Usually you're like, oh, neighbors and shit. I'm like, nah, I'm making a steak. That's more important. was a good ribeye too.
Speaking of
I did
which,
steak
Robbie,
tomorrow.
how's that zombie killing freaking cast iron pan you got working out for you?
It's overpriced, but it looks nice. No, it's all right. I wouldn't say it was worth the money I paid, but when you got gift
Yeah.
cards that are about to expire, I'm not too upset about the
Oh, there you
purchase.
go. Yeah, I do like cast iron. So
This
it's
one weighs like 15 pounds or some bullshit. Once you get it heated up, you will not have to turn your heat on for like 2 days.
right.
But
Somebody asked me, they were like, how come every man has a cast iron skillet? And I said, well, they're pretty easy to take care of. They're pretty hard to fuck up. It's pretty hard, if you make a protein in it and your heat is too high, cast iron will just char the fuck out of it for you, and then you can just be like, hey, look, blackened chicken. But for me, I like them because you can get them hot as fuck, right? Without, there's thin little like stainless steel will warp and stuff. If you can warp cast iron, more power to you. I mean, I'm not saying it's
It's
not possible, but you got to work at it. But I've never had one seasoned well enough that I could like fry eggs in it and pull them out in one piece. Um, but there is a subreddit for cast iron, and there's some cast iron porn on there, buddy. There's
there
some
was
cast
like
iron
a
porn.
3 month period where that was the thing was, can your cast iron do nonstick eggs?
Uh huh. Yeah. I mean, you got to season the fuck out of it. Like,
Yeah, the autism came out in those 3 months. It was like people was like, oh, I got some grapeseed oil and I put
uh-huh.
on 97 different layers of seasoning, and it took only like 17 years, but I don't have eggs that stick to my skillet anymore.
To my cast iron skillet. Yeah.
Worth it.
Worth it, right? Which I think it's flaxseed. I think it's flaxseed oil that they recommend because flaxseed, it's like it takes the
it's
power of the sun to make it
it's got
smoke.
electrolytes.
It's got electrolytes. It's got what cast iron craves.
6 to 1.
But I've got my stainless steel. I don't have any nonstick anymore, just because it's a pain in the ass. You got to be so. I feel like you have to be super gentle with it to not fuck it up, and I'm not gentle with my
Stainless
cookware.
steel?
Do what?
Stainless steel?
I have a lot of stainless steel. Yeah, most of my stuff's stainless steel, actually. Hell,
That
all my.
one's, I had a lot better results with that when I learned to preheat it for 10 hours. And yeah,
Did you know you're supposed to season stainless steel? I did not know that.
I
No,
thought that was
no.
carbon steel.
Maybe it was aluminum. I don't know. Maybe it was carbon
Carbon's
steel.
It's
high carbon
magnesium.
steel would need to be seasoned. Stainless shouldn't need to be. I mean, you could,
Yeah.
but it's like, what's the point?
Maybe I just want it seasoned.
Maybe someone needed to write a listicle that day, and it was a slow news day.
Yeah, no shit.
WikiHow.
You're doing this wrong. This is something you're fucking doing. You're not supposed to tie your shoes. You're supposed to just tuck them in the side.
Stainless steel manufacturers hate this one crazy trick.
Today
Did you know
on
you're doing
BuzzFeed,
this thing
top 10
wrong?
ways to preheat your stainless steel.
1, an oven. 2, also an oven.
3, a stovetop.
A stovetop. 4, a microwave. 5, I'm sorry, the author is dead.
6, magnesium fire starter.
I
A
did.
salamander.
Salamander. Did you know that if you rub 2 salamanders together,
You'll probably burn your kitchen down.
You'll have the latest and greatest ASMR trend.
slippery
People screaming in the
salamanders.
background. Be like, ah, the fire! Oh God!
The salamanders are burning.
6 slippery salamander sodomites.
6
For
slippery
those of you-
salamanders sodomizing Sally.
For those of you that don't know what a salamander is, every Mexican restaurant in America has one. It's what makes the plate too hot for you to touch that they tell you about every fucking time. Because, usually when I get a plate served to me at a restaurant and it's hot, the first thing I do is set my genitals on it, apparently.
I was
Those
referring to
fajitas
the
aren't gonna sizzle themselves.
I was
There's a
referring to the
king
lizard.
salamander that they keep in the back. The king salamander is what makes the steam roll off the plate when they bring it out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
you got to
like
pay extra for that.
we're all talking about something different at this point, which is not unusual. It's not
Yeah,
unusual to be loved by anyone.
It's
I'm
like
typing.
4 musicians recorded parts for the song without listening to the other musicians.
I have heard some albums that I think that might actually be the case. So I was at went and saw Mudvayne this summer and was fairly inebriated. And at one
no.
point, yeah, at one point I realized that it was music for people with ADHD because all four of the musicians at one point were all doing something completely different, and yet somehow it fit. And I realized that that's what I liked about that band was that your brain couldn't get bored listening to them.
I don't know a fucking single Gore song, but their theatrics were, yeah. They satisfy the ADHD.
The guys with the monkey faces on and the giant cocks were that was my favorite. So
It's like
yeah.
Warhammer mixed with Planet of the Apes.
And then you added a soundtrack. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, there's
Dan
a soundtrack. Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Dan is a cock fan.
I am a fan of cock. Yeah, I mean, why not?
I've heard that.
I mean, come on. Do you prefer porn that's just lesbians, or is it more fun when some dude comes in and starts fucking them?
Yes.
All right, well, see, so
Yes.
Yes,
you're all
both.
gay. That's how that works.
See.
See, said before, say it again. I wish I was gay. My life would be easier. Because I'd fuck Doug right in his salamander.
You know, if we were gay,
Let's explore this.
yeah,
Let's go with
yeah,
this. Let's
because
riff.
if we were gay, does that mean it works like if you're black with the N word? So if you're gay and I'm gay, does that mean we get to use disparaging gay terms all day long? Because
Absolutely. I know, well, not so much anymore, but I have known many gay men, and yeah, they throw a lot of slurs around.
Yeah,
So,
Doug, I muted you just in case I could sense for
just in
the.
case. Mark.
Hey, flaming hetero.
yeah, I noticed that, and then just silently just undid it.
Like, yeah, yeah. So, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She
Yeah,
knows
motherfucker.
when she's not getting attention. That's what happens. So, but she's 20 years old. I have a 20-year-old cat. Oh, she gets away with shit.
She's still not old enough to drink.
Not quite. Not quite. Well, unless are cat years like dog years? Is it like 7 years per?
I have no idea because the whole dog years thing is a
That'd make her
fallacy
140.
anyway. They don't age linearly like that. But
It's scientifically proven
sure, we'll go with that.
by science
According to
in
Wikipedia.
science in Wikipedia. Yes, Doug is correct that they age as they age, but they age quote unquote faster as they get older.
Don't we
Same.
all? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
as
I mean
as the oldest one currently here. Yes,
that is probably true, actually.
I think I'm older than you, Doug.
I think deep down you are. Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
we'll go with that. You can be your own grandpa too.
Could be. There's a song about that
Yeah.
somewhere.
There's a very horrible song about that. Feel free to go listen to it.
I heard it too much as a kid.
I did too. That and Jerry Clower And God, I have heard so many Jerry Clower tapes, but Jerry Clower was funny.
I don't know what reminded me of this, probably because you were bringing up a bunch of dumb old hick fucking comedy, but somebody was asking me about if I had ever seen the shirts, God damn it, the one Doug has like a half a dozen of.
My
Big
dick.
Johnson shirts.
Big Johnson, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my
it.
dick.
Oh goddamn!
Somebody asked me
We
yesterday
talked
at work.
about this on the first
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, and they asked me, they're like, "You ever seen those Big Johnson shirts?" And I just started laughing. They're like, "Have you?" Yeah, I've seen them. Yep, as a matter of fact, I have. Yeah, it brought back a little bit of nostalgia. Um, I uh, sent Adam and Robbie both a reel from Instagram the other day. That, what year are we in? It's 1987, and I was like, perfect. So, for those of you that aren't longtime listeners, which I find that hard to believe, but when we first started this podcast, our buddy Rich um, was he recorded a couple episodes with us, and we used to tease him about 1987 being the best year ever. And Uncle, what the fuck? What'd you used to call him, Adam?
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. Yeah.
Because Napoleon Dynamite, he was always living his youth. He's like, I could
Yeah.
throw a football clear over mountains over there.
But Big Johnson shirts were, I think that was the very first podcast when we all still sat at our little table over at Adams. So as COVID was slowly crawling in and
Killing
killing
everybody.
90% of the population, according to the
Still
U.S.
not
government.
enough.
Yeah, you think
Shit.
if it killed so many people, housing prices would be down. But here we are.
Fucking A, dude.
Denver has entered chat.
Yeah, it's
Speaking of which, have y'all seen that new fucking fancy? I think it's called One River North.
I've heard
It-
of it,
So it's
but I
got a
have not
fucking
seen it.
nature trail built on the outside of the building, and
Mhm.
it's
Like, and he
yeah.
means on the building, like not in front of the building. It's
Oh,
No,
dear God.
it's on the front, it's on the sides, it's on the back.
Oh
And
my
for
God, I just
$3,000,
Googled
you
it.
can have a fucking studio apartment.
Yep.
I just
Yeah,
Googled it. This looks like the most dystopian fucking shit I've ever seen.
they are absolutely doubling down on gentrifying that area. There's a proposed area, I want to say just south or southwest of the Bronco Stadium, that they're supposed to be putting in similar kind of architecture, just giant gentrification. Um, meanwhile,
This thing looks like shit, dude. It doesn't even look good.
they've got homeless, tent cities, and um, you go down to Colfax, and hell, there's areas of Aurora that
Well, that is
it's
Colfax.
well, fair enough, that are tent cities and homeless. The homeless out here in Denver, the surrounding area is fucking insane. Um, it's just everywhere. But meanwhile, we're building nature apartments for $3,000. It's
I
just
forgot what it was called, or what the apartment complex was called, but there is one that also has a lazy river on the top of the apartment building.
I love it.
So
We
you
gotta
Yeah.
got
have
lazy river, we got a nature trail, and can't wait to see what they come up with next for the concepts.
well, you have to have a nature trail inside the apartment building because if you step outside, you just get stabbed by the homeless people.
Threaten me with a
Right.
good time.
But yes, you're right. You're right, Adam. It looks very dystopian.
Looks like a
Like,
broken PS3.
Can you
Nice.
imagine homeless people breaking into that particular apartment complex to wash their underwear in the lazy river?
Yeah, right.
That,
Camping, setting
that's
their tents up.
that's what killed me about the place, the nature trail, is they have like 8 entire apartments dedicated to income restricted residents. So you had to make like 80% or less of the median income.
Interesting.
But yeah, 8 whole apartments for that.
That's more than a
But
lot do.
hear me out. Hear me out. I'm reading that they have underground parking, so you actually have a place to park.
Well, there you go.
I think I'm in.
I think I'm in,
Fuck
right?
yeah, Batcave parking.
3 levels of underground parking. Just I want to
Yeah.
go down 3 levels into the ground.
Yeah, to
It's
park.
the underground nature trail.
And that's where your homeless will be. So I just I'm not a huge fan of Denver. Colorado's meh. Um, Denver's a shithole, and you've got we were talking about house prices at work the other day, and everybody, if you didn't buy a house in 2012 or before, you're kind of overpaying, but everybody's got a reason for it. But the fact of the matter is that you've got a ton of folks, especially from California, that got sick of California and they sold their homes. I know a guy that he sold this tiny little house. I mean, just a four-sided, like nothing fancy. I think it was like 2 bedroom or something, but it was near UCLA in the same area. And he bought it like, I don't know, in the 80s, I think he said. And paid, probably 85,000, 60,000, fucking whatever. And he sold it for 1 point X million, and then moved here and was able to buy a $700,000 house, basically with cash. And there's more and more of that happening as they egress these very expensive areas. They sell and then they move somewhere cheaper, but then they jack up the price of everything in the place
Yeah,
that they
they're like, I want
move
to get
to.
out of I want to get out of LA. Everything's so expensive there. I'm going to take all this money and flood another market with it.
Yeah,
And then
well,
it shouldn't turn into the same thing. It should
Right.
just stay the same.
it
It'll be
Right.
wouldn't have
fine.
been as bad, but the the people that came from California with their large cash holdings from selling their home, and they come over the here, and then they were like, "I want that house. I want that
Yep.
house in particular."
Yep.
So I'll give you a bajillion dollars more than what you're asking for the damn thing, and it does
Yep.
not take too many of those for it
Nope.
to because all you have to have in a neighborhood, I mean, the neighborhood is basically worth what the last 3 houses sold for.
Pretty
That's kind of
much.
what determines that what the houses in there are worth. So all you have to have is 2 or 3 assholes buy houses in your neighborhood and drop 75 grand over what they were asking for the fucking place, and then suddenly the entire neighborhood is more expensive.
And that is exactly what happened.
It's like I still get Zillow emails about my old house in Georgia that I bought for like, I don't know, 52, 53,000. And it needed some cosmetic work, nothing crazy. But
mhm.
yeah, it, they're suggesting that it can go for $240,000 now, and I'm like, yeah, if anybody pays that much, you're a fucking idiot.
But I mean, that's just where we're at with house pricing, man. So, but I don't, I just won't be what I've always heard referred to as house poor, talking about looking at the uh, housing prices and what I what I can afford, versus um, what I'm willing to pay are two different things, and that's what people don't understand. Like, oh, you could afford that. I mean, yeah, I could pay that, and probably still eat ramen
Yeah, you could chop your
noodles.
dick off. You could chop
Right.
your dick off if you really wanted to. You
Right.
just have to make some sacrifices
Some
and cut back here and
sacrifices.
there. You could cut your dick and your leg off if you really wanted to. You don't need those.
And
Go on.
there are go on the kink podcast. There's there's people that have bought in the last couple of years that are damn near never going to be able to sell their fucking houses and make a profit. Um, you know, I just, I don't know. I guess it's different um, if it's a husband wife or something like that, and you've got the dual incomes and everything. It's probably a little bit easier to do. Um, but being single, I have to consider that as well. So, but I don't think that I'd buy a house based on a couple's income after being divorced twice.
Yeah, tell me more.
It will change the way that you budget yourself. I am just saying. So,
Technically,
Yes.
75% of this podcast has been divorced.
yep, 50% of this podcast has been divorced twice. So, or 1.75 times, Robbie, something like that.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take. So it's it will change the way that you. I'm not saying I would never move in with anyone again, but um, if it were like a house situation, I would buy the house, and they could pay half of whatever, but at the end of it, I want to be able to um, afford it on my own. I don't ever want to be.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Hear me out. What are your thoughts on going out on an apartment that has a nature trail?
Go on.
And a lazy river.
All
And
right, for
three.
$3,000, you can get a 500 square foot apartment.
Right.
With a nature
Now,
trail.
if you said what are your thoughts on going in on 100 acres up in the mountains, I'd say you have my attention. So at this point, my plan for, I guess, is to oddly enough move out to like West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, something like that, when the time comes. At the rate I'm going, it'll be retirement when I'm 82. But
Well, it's kind of the way I feel about this whole thing. It's like I've enjoyed Colorado, but I don't see myself spending the rest of my life here. And
no.
as far as like buying a house, that whole fire that tore up God knows how many homes going through a subdivision with the winds here have showed me that I do not want to buy a house where it is brown. If you look at a map and
Wow,
the
that's
area
racist.
that you're in is brown,
That's
probably not a great idea in a environment such as we have, where we've got wildfires all over the place, all around us, in the nations to the north of us, various states.
But housing's usually cheaper there, right?
It's
Nope.
a fire sale in some areas.
fire sale. I see what you did there.
Oh, you mean like the land is brown.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
I've got
I thought
reasons.
Doug was just being racist.
No. It's
Look at this map,
that's-
and if it's
that's-
brown, you don't want to live there.
being the fact that I'm the only schmuck here who has lost everything that he owns twice to once to a fire, once to a tornado. I've got good reasons. I don't want to see how much I can push this luck. You know what I'm
I
saying?
got history. Yeah, right.
So basically, we should buy you a rabbit's foot and find a 4-leaf clover for you, and that should be a good gift for your next birthday.
Yeah,
Yep.
Doug 0 and 2 with Mother Nature.
Exactly.
0 and 2. Fuck you, said Mother Nature.
Let's see. The only thing, let's say I haven't had an earthquake yet.
Give it
So
time.
California's out.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be a good idea to move anywhere near the New Madrid Fault
No.
because, as soon as I move there, we'll have some 200-year earthquake.
The century's still young. You never know.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my god.
You
Doug will
know,
bring the curse to wherever.
It's like,
and
hey, what's that? Are those fucking locusts? Yeah, Doug moved in.
It's great. It starts with an earthquake.
Is this blood falling from the sky?
Yeah, if there's no fault line when you move in, a new one's gonna form.
Right.
Probably.
The
Brand new fault line.
San Arnold fault. There's yeah. The one thing about Colorado, short of those fires, which were kind of unusual, the last couple of years they've um,
Become
been
less unusual.
yeah. I mean, honestly, they have. Um, the the worst thing she had to worry about in Colorado was hail. I mean, the hail can get fucking wicked out here, but you
Yeah, I got
don't
some
have
hail damage out
do
there.
what?
I got some hail damage on my car out there.
Did you?
Yeah.
I know Juan had his car fucked up pretty good actually. So
Yeah, I saw the videos.
yeah, so there's there wasn't much to worry about out here because you don't have a lot of you don't have like tornadoes and things like that. But to Doug's point, you are seeing more and more of the fires and whatnot, and they get pretty nasty. I had in the memories on Facebook, I had some pics show up of one of the fires up near Estes, and I was like, "Oh fuck, that's right. I drove up there." My dumbass. I wanted to see it, so I drove up. I didn't get you. You couldn't get too particularly close, um, but you could get close enough that you really saw the fucking impact. And I remember it was snowing ash up there, which was uh, pretty fucking wild. And it was like orange. It was very post-apocalyptic. Um,
Yeah,
but
that was just Doug.
so yeah, he
It
ran up
wasn't the
to
fire.
he just ran up to check things out.
I had lunch
Yeah.
up there
I
right
had
before
lunch,
that.
I had lunch up in Estes. I don't. Estes is kind of cool. I like that area. Golden's decent. Can't fucking stand Boulder, dude. And I know that that's one of the more like yeah, and it's one of the more well known places. I mean, it's where Mork and Mindy lived, but there's there's just nothing good about it. For those of you that might be listening, thinking I want to go to Boulder, Colorado, no, you don't.
Don't.
You really don't. It's uh,
It's not like it's a bad area. It's just the people.
yeah, very
Yeah, just
pretentious.
watch South Park and then you'll get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. I've been to South Park,
It's
Colorado.
kind of like a idealist mentality up there where I don't know, you just have to experience it. It's kind of hard to
But
describe.
don't experience it. You have to, you need to understand it, but don't
That's
is
the
what they're
takeaway
saying.
here is just don't.
Just don't.
If I had to describe Boulder, it's like I don't hate it, but it's very non-fat soy latte.
Yeah. Yeah. What are they I had
It's
a friend,
the
what she used to
Prius
call it.
episode of South Park. That describes it.
Yeah. I had a friend that used to call it crunchy granola. That's just how she described Boulder. She'd be all these. She'd be, I got to go up there and deal with all that fucking crunchy granola, and I don't know why, but the first time I heard that, I just cracked the fuck up because if you've been there and you've dealt with the people and everything, and somebody says crunchy granola, it fits. It's So very soy latte. Um,
Look at me,
and
look at me. I'm very important.
No,
yeah,
sir. Non-fat soy latte.
non-fat soy latte. Now I will say this: it's a beautiful area. I mean, like the mountains and stuff, the way that you're nestled in and everything. But
Yeah, if you dropped a nuke and got rid of all the people, it'd be
people,
awesome.
like was it not a hydrogen bomb? What's the one that just takes out meat and leaves all the
Neutron
buildings?
bomb.
Neutron, that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
they don't have meat up there, so.
Well, the people have meat on them, so it'd be weird if like you do that and then you go in and only impossible meat was left in the cases.
Well, the people, I don't think they would melt because they would have too much vegan cheese in them.
Too much,
that doesn't
yeah,
melt.
that's true too. Yeah, they would be
Vegan cheese is a lie.
They would be immune to the power of the neutron.
Even being lactose intolerant, that's still something I just rather not.
Did you know,
It's
speaking
not
of
bad.
being lactose intolerant and cheese, if you get a cheese that has been aged for 5 years or more, it should not affect you if you are lactose intolerant.
Well, that's where the texture issues come in. But
Oh,
anyways,
you don't like the texture of cheese?
some
Not
of it,
5-year-old
yes.
cheese. 5-year-old
Some of it,
fucking
no.
mold.
No, you age cheese, man. That's how you get cheese.
Yeah, and then you get a fucking penicillin shot when you're done eating it.
Well, no, because what? No, that's not how that works at all.
I like my liquids aged, not my food.
I like my cheese like I like my women. Aged at least 5 years.
Oh, God.
Mark.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Doug. Did you hear it? Did you hear what
I got that good cheese. We're making fun of someone that none of you know, but so it's just funny to us and not you.
Lucky them.
The people of Guantanamo Bay do not know who we are making fun of.
They're not in
That's
on the
right.
joke.
I wonder if we actually do have any listeners. I think since we moved platforms or stopped using Pinecast, it seems like Zencaster doesn't have that kind of data, does it?
That was the tipping point, huh?
What's that?
That's what really.
No.
Stop
I mean,
listening.
you can't tell if you have any listeners or anything with Zencaster. With Pinecast, I could see like the 1 or 2 listens that were basically
See,
Adam and Doug jerking off to the sound of their own voices. But I was thinking,
No,
Who the
I
fuck
was
is
jerking
listening
off.
from Sri
No.
Lanka?
right, exactly.
I was jerking off to the sound of Doug's voice, and Doug was jerking
Well,
off
that's
to the
what I
sound of my
said.
voice.
Yeah, I didn't
We
specify.
sort of
said our
switch
own
up,
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
like, oh, yeah. Oh,
Talk
Adam,
some
say
more,
it
Adam.
again. Yeah.
Say it again. Yeah, it. Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm curious if we're just basically, using up bandwidth and incriminating ourselves in 20 years. I mean, you
No,
already
we have-
know the 4 of us, none of us better ever get arrested for fucking anything because it's not going to matter. All they got to do is take some clips of this fucking show, and it doesn't matter if it's murder or rape.
Adam, did you say you want to drop a nuke on Boulder?
Exactly.
What are you doing with all this fertilizer?
Night on Fox News.
Yeah, Newsmax. Max News, Newsmax.
I invite somebody to listen to the entirety of this podcast waiting for one of us to say the Jews or something.
The Jews. I'm sure we have. I mean, fuck, dude. We've talked about NAMBLA at length. We've made some horrendous fucking jokes on this podcast, but
Oh, yeah.
No, man. The Jews, they got some good food.
I have a thing with Israeli women. So funny. Well, I think it's funny because I have a dark sense of humor. But on Facebook one night, I made a joke and said, "Hey, does anybody know of a place that does mail order Israeli brides?" Okay. Now I have a friend on Facebook who is Israeli. and I knew she'd see it, but it was, it was supposed to be funny because I've always joked that the IDF have some of the hottest fucking chicks ever. Gal Gadot was IDF, right? And I wake up the next morning to find out that Hamas had come into Israel and murdered 1,500 fucking people. And I was like,
You might want to
do I
delete
take it
that.
down? Exactly. Which,
Oh,
of course,
here's
I did
Dan with the
not.
weather.
Yeah, no, I did not. I refused, but it was, it did not age well. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that was ill fucking timed. So, see, Doug, you're not the only one that's cursed. If I say that I like a particular ethnic region's women, terrorist attack. So, you know,
Hey
whatever.
guys,
Do love those Chinese women.
Well, I think the ultimate combo would, if you could, make a woman like a recipe, to where you add a pinch of flour and blah blah blah. Uh, I think it would be African American, Latina, and Asian. I think if you put all of those together, you would have the hottest,
Oof.
noisiest woman on the planet.
Well, what about Ray
But
Don Chong? Wasn't she? She was.
You're just making up shit now.
All right, now I got to look what her ethnicity was. I know she was. Well, it's Tommy Chong's daughter, and I think he's white. I honestly don't know. Ray Don Chong.
37% indica, 43% sativa, and the rest is hybrid.
oh, that's so good.
Okay,
So
all
good.
right. Here you go.
Oh, and
Let's
2%
see.
Labrador.
Dog hair. Radon Chong, her father is of Chinese and Scottish Irish descent, and her birth mother, Maxine Sneed, was of Black Canadian descent. So you've got Chinese, African American, and Scottish
I,
Irish.
I
Go
always
on.
thought she was hot.
I know she is. Yeah, she definitely is. So yeah, you're probably onto something there. I
we
need to
got
date a black woman.
1.32 thousand, or yeah, 1.32 thousand downloads in the last month.
I
One
was just
point
running a bash script to
Dude, it looks like it, dude. Because our all time is like 2,000.
downloads,
So
like, so that's listened. So in the last month, over 1,000 people have listened, have forced themselves to
have
listen to
downloaded it at
us.
least. Yeah.
I
I've
call
told some of
I
bullshit.
don't
my
buy it. Yeah, I don't
told
buy
some of
it,
my
but
friends about it. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think someone's fudging the numbers. So
What's the
I don't buy it.
how long
There-
did they listen though? That's
So
yeah.
our retention on, let's see, October 21st,
Yeah, give me
Mhm.
those
our
big
retention
metric
was the
numbers.
best. But lately our retention is 25%.
I'll take it. Of course, our
Yeah, let's
last
do a
few have not
quarter.
been bangers by any means. Our last few
Are they
episodes have
ever?
been trash.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of downloads. I don't know. This is kind of creepy. I'm creeped out.
Now, see, I told you the goddamn CIA is
October 25th, we got
saving all this.
182 downloads.
My guess is that a
That's
download is a listen, right?
that's
Because
when
it
I
probably
started telling Spotify to automatically download episodes so I wouldn't have
download
them
episodes so
offline.
it looks like we're actually doing
Yeah.
something. You've got like a
How many
farm,
Spotify accounts do you
right? You've
have?
got a phone farm now.
No, don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
right. That's his side hustle. He does a click farm.
Click farm for
Got a bunch of
Spotify.
Samsungs. Got a bunch of Samsungs in the closet.
Got that
I
smooth
actually
Robbie,
meant
stream energy.
a big stream energy. I actually
No,
meant
smooth
to
string.
write down. I wanted to write down some topics this week. There was like things that I did want to talk about, and I didn't write them down. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I have ADHD, and if I
Huh.
don't write
Tell us
something
about that.
down, do what?
Tell us about that. I've never
Oh,
heard
so
of
tell
it.
us about that. I'm not familiar. I think it's interesting that, and I think I mentioned this one other time, is that all four of us have ADHD, but all four of us have completely different fucking symptoms. And I
I
think
don't have
that's,
ADHD, so I want
you
to throw
don't?
that out there.
You?
No.
No? No?
I forget.
I forget. It's a squirrel. Adam may be a little more autistic than than AD. No. It's
We
ADHD.
are all on the spectrum to some degree.
That's the interesting part is that I've always said that I think ADHD and autism are very, very closely related. And
Now we're done with the ASMR part. Calm down,
Oh, I'm
Adam.
sorry.
it's like, what the fuck? Stop it.
Easy,
Now
Megilla Gorilla.
there's a new term where what do they call it? Like I can't even say it. It's like ADHD. And I'm like, no, I think you're just double naming the same thing is what you're doing
HD autism
there. HD autism.
at
Yeah, millennials
2160p.
Well, they
millennials
like
love
to,
creating labels for stuff that already fucking exists.
Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair
Well,
enough.
and we've had this discussion before about, that label will last a certain time period and then someone decides they don't really want to be that thing and then they get
Right.
labeled that thing and then they decide they want to call the thing another thing.
Well, and to Adam's point, the the idea of constantly renaming shit, or like the other day I was talking to somebody and he was telling me we were just talking about like kids on the internet, and how if you've got 10, 11, 12-year-old kids and they're playing like Roblox or Fortnite or something, and the fucking weirdo creeps that come sliding into the DMs and shit. And I said, I mean, if you're going to have 10, 11, 12-year-old kids on the internet, I think the parent has to take an interest in it. They have to like find some way to get involved with it or whatever. One of the guys was like, yeah, he says, I've got an account I never get on, but I can see when my daughter, if somebody adds her as a friend, stuff like that. I said, see, I mean, I think that's something, right? And later he pulled me to the side and he was like, yeah, he said, my daughter, when she was, I think like 10 or 11, had this dude that was in his 30s trying to get her to like meet up at a park and all this stuff. And at one point, I guess, identified himself as a minor attracted person. And I said, a fucking what? And he just sort of grinned because he knew that he was, I'm like, what the fuck is, I said, it's a pedophile. And a dude heard that and he goes, hey, that's a negative connotation. And I don't like to side with conservative, liberal, either or. But man,
That's a forerunner of normalization.
I mean, exactly. And I'm starting to realize as I get older that sometimes I think maybe I'm getting a little more conservative than I used to be. Because like, I don't care what you want to do until you start involving children or animals. Like, leave the kids and the puppies alone. Keep your dick away from children and dogs. And I don't care what you do besides that. So
Yeah, maps were trying to like hijack like the LGBTQ movement and be like, yeah, we're part of this too. Yeah, and everyone was like, no,
no.
no, you're no.
We might be dudes that fuck other dudes, but we have body hair and they have body hair. So fuck off.
That's something that has kind of irritated me with Google Maps is they started identifying like businesses as LGBTQ owned or women owned.
Or friendly. Yeah.
And when I'm looking at restaurants, I don't give a fuck who owns it. I just want good food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fat ass.
Exactly.
There is.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I don't give a shit who owns the place. Just make a good whatever in the fuck it is that you do.
Right.
Is he gonna suck a dick while he's cooked? Okay, no, then it doesn't matter.
Don't even care.
I don't care.
Just don't get
Now,
any on my pizza.
Now, if you start identifying restaurants as fascist owned, okay, yeah, I might
Right.
not give them my business.
Communist owned pizza. I don't think so.
What you're saying is, if Hitler's hamburgers actually had the world's greatest hamburgers,
bro,
you'd be like, I'd maybe no on that one.
Doug,
Do they
Hear me
use
out.
Wisconsin beef?
all I'm saying is I wouldn't trust anything that came out of the ovens there, Doug. I wouldn't trust anything that came out of the ovens there. God, that one hurt. I had to get that out. And
I
those are
think
the types
Dan's
of
onto
things.
something.
Yeah, I will never be able to run for politics because this
So hear
podcast
me
will
out.
come up.
Dan hit a stroke of
So,
genius just now. He said communist pizza. All right, hear
Communist
me
pizza.
out.
Okay.
You walk in, you order a pizza.
I already know where you're going with this. God damn it.
Everyone in the restaurant gets a
It's a piece
slice,
of your pizza. I knew
and
that's
you
where
only
you're
get
going.
one slice of your pizza.
Sign me up.
I absolutely fucking hate the fact that I knew exactly where you were going with that. Like that bothers me a little bit.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you met Adam?
It appears that I have, yes. Yeah, and that's the whole woke movement, man. And I've tried to stay away from even using that term because it's like whatever. I mean, some of these people are just they care about social causes and stuff, but just like the social justice warriors, it's been taken too far. The whole woke thing is just it's been taken too goddamn far.
it's some people are making that part of their identity, and just like people compensate with anything else,
Sure,
it's so somebody gets, yeah. I mean, you can even have somebody that, say, for instance, they decide they want to get into drones. Well, they go hardcore into drones. Well, you have people that are
That's
doing that on
autism.
yeah, like, well, you have people that are doing that on social issues now. It's becoming part of their identity, and they want to proudly represent whatever else. Then and it the there can be positives and there can be negatives to that, but just like anything else, it can be taken to extremes.
I think just in general, politics nowadays reminds me of like if the girl grows up with a very conservative father, so she goes out and gets tagged by a bunch of fucking black dudes to piss him off, and I feel like that's what
Same.
right. I mean, who hasn't done that? But the it seems like the whole woke community, their whole point is just to push against the conservative ideology without even listening or understanding it. And then the conservatives, you guys have heard me say over and over that these people that are like voting for Trump and shit, they don't even know what he did or anything else. But by God, they'll tell you that he really pisses off liberals, and that's funny. And it's like, dude, if you're voting for someone just because they piss off a group of people you don't like, you should not be allowed to vote because you
Yeah,
don't.
you're just being a troll.
And if there's
At
one
that
thing
point.
Adam
What's
knows
that, Adam?
about, tell us more, Adam. What are these trolls you speak of?
I mean,
It's
it's
not
like
cool to
when
be a troll, guys. It's not cool to be a troll. This is serious. Okay.
Mhm.
it's like when I joke about hard R's. Extremism on any side, whether that's liberal, Republican, nationalism, religion,
Cats,
whatever.
dogs,
It's yeah,
drones.
Well,
It's
yeah.
yet
annoying.
again, that's these people are making it part of their identity, and they take it to the extreme. And then, since it is part of their identity, whenever that is brought up, they feel, but regardless of what positions can be made on the subject, they feel is that it's an attack on their identity,
On
and
them.
they
Yeah.
respond appropriately. The problem that we've got is the 5% on either side are fucking it up for the rest of us.
I just, I don't know anyone that takes something like that and makes it their personality. For instance, like being a troll. I don't know of anyone who makes being a troll part of their personality. I couldn't imagine
I'm
what
going to
that's.
Georgia in December. Do you want to go with me?
I was actually talking about Adam, but
Oh,
because
okay.
yeah,
Never mind. Never mind.
he goes
Listen,
way
guys,
out of
being
his
a
way.
troll is not cool. Okay. This is the presidency of the United States. This is
Mhm.
serious business.
I need to,
Okay.
guys. I need to reboot my sarcasm filter is full on my computer after hearing Adam say that. So if you just give me a second, I need to reboot.
I'll say it, trolling is not cool.
I want to get you a shirt that says trolling is not cool. I want to see if it bursts into flames when you put it on.
Did I
It's
show you
better.
guys the active shooter shirt that I ordered?
No,
Oh,
no. Active
Yeah, it's got like it's got like a basketball swishing into a net, and it says active shooter.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, like I said, I don't know if your mom hugged you too much, didn't hug you enough. You are a mystery. I can't quite figure out exactly why you are like you are. So
That's okay.
think your mom smoked while you were in utero.
Oh, she did the whole time. Here, I'm gonna send you a picture of this shirt.
Goddamn liberals telling me I can't smoke and drink while I'm pregnant. It's my baby.
I wasn't gonna, but now I'm gonna.
Now I'm gonna. I tell people I am pro-choice and pro-gun. You go figure that one out for yourself. So it kind of blows people's minds. I think
More guns? Yeah. Usually.
Yeah.
Worked for
anybody
Kurt
having
Cobain.
anybody having children kind of does too. So trolling isn't cool. Yeah, you need that shirt. Definitely need that shirt. I personally believe that babies, embryos, whatever the fuck they are when they first start, are more like cancer than they are, a living being. But that's my personal opinion. Yeah, that's
I
an
think
ugly shirt.
after you're
too.
born, you turn into cancer
I
as
think
well.
I think it's a whole different type of cancer. Yeah, it metastasizes, and then you spread. So
Yep, you're born, you move to Greeley, you turn into cancer.
there you go. I mean, that's you said that and it reminded me of the goddamn the killdozer dude. And it is
Bill
weird,
Dozer.
huh?
Bill Dotrieve
Bill
from
Dotrieve. It's
yeah,
weird
the
to see
Bill
how many
Dozer.
people like support what he did and think that
Well, yeah.
and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think that's how you handle shit. And like that's how a child would do something. A child would get angry and break something to prove that, look at me, as Adam likes
Yeah,
to
I
say.
remember my little cousin, my mom wouldn't let him have he was over, my mom wouldn't let him have Cocoa Puffs. So he built a tank out of a bulldozer and killed like 60 people in town with it
I
and
heard.
then blew his brains out.
I knew
Yeah.
about that. I'd heard about that.
That's fair.
So,
Yeah.
That's fair.
yeah, Cocoa Puffs are pretty fucking good, for the record. They are.
Well,
Not to
people
mention the
do
milk that's left over
Oh my
afterwards.
god! Right? Hell yeah!
people do go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Ha! He's right.
It's in the name. I mean, it's in the
It is-
slogan.
It is right. Like tricks are. I mean, tricks are for kids. What are you gonna do?
Keep them away from what's the term that's not pedophile?
Minor attracted person.
Okay, so keep your
Pedophiles.
tricks away from minor
Pedophile.
attracted persons.
You're not from London. Pedophile. Do you say
There's
vitamin?
a whole meta thing now where people call each other pedophiles on Twitter by telling them they belong on the wall because that's where maps go. So it's a whole thing.
Wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go, Brandon. It's right up there with that.
Yeah, it's a whole meta thing. Yeah.
Like
You
Facebook.
should just go to Truth Social with the rest of them.
Oh my god.
This
Newsmax.
lost $73 million.
Nah,
No,
man.
I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay,
No.
I did not lose that much. All right, it's a lie.
There was a
I
guy
will
at work
provide
yesterday.
no evidence.
This guy at work yesterday, he was and he's a Trump supporter, but he was imitating him, doing a damn good job of it, talking about how he has the best Diet Coke, and he actually got me to snort in the middle of the office. Yes, Diet Coke, man. I'm not a drug addict. Yeah,
Well, that's an all Coke, Diet Coke.
Yeah, you get skinny.
enough of it. Yeah. Or if it's got fentanyl in it, one or the other.
You get pretty slim in no time.